Okay, class, we're about to start Unit 7, Statistics. Okay, we have Section A, Mean and Weighted Average. The mean is just a mathematical way of saying the average. Add up the values and divide by the number of items you added. Example, find the mean temperature of 46 degrees, 55 degrees, 31 degrees, 43 degrees, 28 degrees, and also 50 degrees. And they want us to round our answer to the nearest hundred. Now we're supposed to add all of these values and divide by how many numbers we had, which was 6. Now when we add all of these values up, that gives us 253 divided by 6. Now, you can use your calculator in this section, and if you use your calculator, when you round these values, we will make an approximation symbol here. It'll be 42.17, and that will be your mean. Now, we need to go back. I made a mistake and hit the side here. But we have the weighted average is a way of making the values used to compute an average different weights or of importances. Or, for example, when you compute your GPA, the grade you got in a 4-credit class counts more than the grade you got in a 2-credit class. Or in a class syllabus, it may say that your test grades count more than your homework grades in the final grade computation. Okay, now example, find the GPA, the weighted average. Now this is how we would do it. We would take the weighted average is the value, which are these values, times the weight. So we'll take 4.0 times 4, which is 16. 3.0 times 3, which is 9. 3.0 times 4 is 12. And 2.0 times 3 is 6. Now we would total the weighted mean. So we have 16 and 9 is 25, plus 12 is 37, plus 6 is 43. Now we have the total weights. We will add these up. 4 plus 3 is 7, plus 4 is 11, plus 3 is 14. Now it says the GPA is equal to the total weighted values, which is 43, divided by the total weights, which is 14. Now what we need to do is divide these values. So you could take your calculator and take 43 divided by 14, and this will give you, if we round this to the nearest hundredth place, this will give you a grade point average of about a 3.07. Now we come to this example. It says find the weighted average of the following class grades. Homework is 65% of the grade. Well, you scored a 65% on the homework, but the percent of the final grade is 10%. And we also have these other values here. So now we will multiply these values here. But first, we have our category, our grade, and then we also must have here the weights and also the weighted value. Okay, now, so we could do this. Let's disregard these percent signs for right now. We could just multiply the number. 65 times 10 is 650. 88 times 10 is 880. 82 times 50 would give us, what's that, 400. No, that looks like, would be 4,100. 95 times 10 is 950. And 78 times 20 is 1,500. And now we will add all these values together. We will have 0 here. 5 and 8 is 13, plus 0 is 13, plus 5 is 18, plus 6 is 24. We carry our 2. 2 and 6 is 8. Plus 8 is 16. Plus 1 is 17. Plus 9 is 26. Plus 5 is 31. And 3 and 4 is 7. Plus 1 is 8. So we have 8,140. And we know we would add up these percent for the final grade, which would be 100. And we could put percent here. But we'll divide this by 100. And this will give us 81.4. And we know this will be a percentage. So it'd be 81.4%. Now, we come here to section B. It says using graphs and charts. The pie chart shows how Kate's monthly income of $4,500 is spent. How much money does she spend on transportation each month? So we would take transportation, which is 22%. We'd take $4,500 times 0.22, which you could easily put in your calculator. Let's type in 4,500 times 0.22. And this would give you $990. $990. Now we come here to number 2. The line graph shows sales in millions of dollars for companies A and B for several years. During which year did company A outsell company B by the largest amount? By how much did A outsell B that year? If you look here, company A, the highest point of company A, and the lowest, well, yeah, that's the lowest point of company B, happens to happen in 2009. So 2009 answers the first question. So one of your answers would be 2009. Now your other answer says by how much did A outsell B that year? So we would have to look here. You notice here that this point is a little above 2.5. So we'll make that 2.6. And we know we're going to subtract that. And then we look here at our blue mark here. This looks like it's directly on 4.5. So we'll take 4.5 minus 2.6. We cannot subtract 6 from 5, so we borrow 1 from 4. That becomes 3. And the 5 becomes 15. 15 minus 6 is 9. Bring down our decimal. 3 minus 2 is 1. So it'll be 1.9 million. So we could write in 2009, company A outsold company B by 1.9 million. And that is the final answer of this problem. Now we go here to page 26. The bar graph shows the populations of several cities in the years 2000 and 2010. Find the percent decrease in Detroit's population between these years. Okay, now we look here. These are the years between 2000 and 2010. Detroit population started off at 951. And it ended up in 2010 at 714. You're supposed to subtract these values and divide by the original amount. Now this is the percent of decrease. So we will have 951 minus 714, and that will give us 237 all over 951. And our final answer here would be, if we round this, If we round our answer to the nearest percent, our final answer would be approximately 25%. So we could write out that Detroit had a decline in population from 2000 to 2010, and it was about 25%. And that is the final answer. Now we scroll down here to 4. It says the circle graph shows Kim's monthly expenses. Express the ratio of her expenses for food to her expenses for housing in lowest terms. Okay, so we have, first we do her expenses for food, which is 12%. So we can write that as a decimal at 0.12. And we want to do her expenses for housing. Her housing expenses is 33%, which is 0.33. Now again, we're doing this as a ratio. So that means we need to move this decimal here 2 places in our denominator and 2 places in our numerator. So we will have 12 over 33. Now 12 and 33 both has 3 in common. So we'll divide the numerator and denominator by 3, and that would give us 4 11s. And that is our final answer. Now,